I found out I can do a good Daniel Radcliffe impression.
Go on then.
Well, I found this out through a niche way. Good little drop in here as well.
Yeah.
Because I was in How to Train Your Dragon too.
What?
I'm in it.
Mate, that's up there with like one of my favourites.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 was the one that got Oscar nominated as well, I'm pretty sure.
No way.
So, yeah.
We get the Oscars?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So I've just listed as actor 1. Just quickly, I will say that this episode may contain some bad language. In fact, probably will, including words that you've probably never even heard of before, mainly because they've been made up.
Ro, do you believe in ghosts?
No. Well,
Ooh, okay.
I think if something has enough concentrated energy,
Yeah.
and it's like intense energy,
Yeah.
I think it can leave an imprint.
Yeah.
So what you're watching is almost like a replay.
I've got a ghost story.
Go on.
I've got a few actually, but the most craziest one was I was in America and I was staying at somebody's house and I got shown up to my room and I walked up to the room and I was like, the energy in this room is like really like heavy. So go into the room and I was like, oh, I just don't feel good in this room. It felt like, the only way I can explain it is like somebody was screaming, but it was so piercing. Obviously no one was screaming, but it was piercing my ears. And it was the days of Skype, yeah. And I remember Skyping my mum. Yeah.
The days of Skype.
The days of Skype.
Yeah, go on.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
And it was Skype and I was on my iPad and I'd ring my mum. I was like,
Let's go.
Mum.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah. Do you know that sounds now gone?
Yeah,
It
gone.
was in the news and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I rang my mum and I was like, Mum, I'm telling you that there's something in this room. Like, that doesn't want me in this room.
Yeah.
Mum was like, stop being stupid. Like, just try to go to sleep. So I've hung up and I'm laying in bed. And I remember laying there and all of a sudden this heavy energy, like really heavy energy just went like that, right? And it was like...
over you?
No, over the room, mate. Like,
right.
The whole room went and like silence came, right? Like real deep silence, right? And I was like, oh my God. And all of a sudden, I was laying in bed and all of a sudden and I am not exaggerating this, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I got punched in the chest, like a proper like thud on my chest, yeah? And I went, I knew it. And I flung the covers over my head and I shouted, I was like, please leave me alone. I'm a good person. Yeah? Right? And then all of a sudden, it just went, vroom, again, right? And
But when you're saying, but you were going, vroom.
Yeah.
Explain this more. You can't just say
the
it's
energy,
going, vroom.
the energy.
Yeah, but what, are you hearing something?
No, I'm not hearing
Are you
nothing.
feeling like air?
No, the only way I can explain it is like a piercing sound, like somebody screaming, but there's no scream. There was no sound of a scream, but it's so loud and so heavy, the energy. And when I say vroom, that energy is all gone, and it's like
Dispersed.
Yeah, like someone's run out of the room or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And then after the punch and me screaming, and
I'm a good person.
Yeah, it's gone again, right? And then all of a sudden, and this is where I fucking shit my pants.
Yeah.
Is the blind that was next to my room went whoom and span like a fucking cartoon, yeah? Went brrr, spin, and I promise you.
So blind's gone up and
blind's
span.
gone up, span, and I promise you this happened, yeah? It felt like someone was right next to my face and went and spat in my face. Obviously no saliva, but the feeling of someone going spitting, and I jumped out of my skin, ran down the stairs. I was like, the person's house I was staying. I was like, this house is haunted. And whose gaff was it? It was like a family friends. And them lot then were like, I woke everyone up. They all like were scared. Then they started like, because they were quite like Christian. Yeah. Right. Then they started like praying and stuff. Yeah, it was the most weirdest experience of my life, and I was like,
sounds like you're in an episode of like The Conjuring. Or
I
something
know,
like that.
it felt like that, yeah. And they ended up getting like a priest round the house, and to bless this house. They thought I brought like a devil in the house or something like that. And the priest even said, the priest was like, yeah, there was like a bad like energy in this room and had to bless the room and all this kind of stuff. It was the most maddest experience of my life, mate. The other day, I was in the car, and I think I'm very like spiritual, right? And I think I definitely believe like there's spirits that aren't ready to leave leave the world and whatnot. But what I was driving in my car, and it was late at night, driving down the road, and I felt as if somebody passed through my car on the road, right? And then
but again, this is what I have to get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
Right? When people say this and they
Yeah.
go, "Oh, I could feel someone pass through the car."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It meant
Is that
all right,
not
cool.
just the aircon kicked in?
Maybe
It's blown
but
you,
again,
and you've
maybe,
gone, "Oh, it's cold."
Maybe I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so maybe.
No, I am. I love a conspiracy.
Yeah. So maybe that could be the case. But I know
What, was it like cold air? Like what's the sensation?
No, it wasn't even cold air. It was and it wasn't even like this one wasn't scary. It was more the sense of like, you know, when somebody's in the room with you, you know when someone's not in the room with you. There's a sense of another being or whatever in the room. I drove my car, and it just felt like somebody literally went through my car like that. And then, no word of a lie, I drove probably about 2 minutes up the road, and there was flowers for somebody who had obviously passed away on this road. And it made me think, oh my God, what if that's...
What I will say is there are certain people on this planet that are more in tune with those things.
Yeah.
My dad's one of them people.
Yeah, really.
My dad is like, he always says that he sees ghosts, but I'll never believe it.
Why don't you believe him? Because you haven't seen him, obviously.
Well, because like, I'll put it this way. My dad
whatever.
always tells this ghost story. He goes, Ro, I was at this place, and I went upstairs, and we were all filming there. Like we were acting, and I was filming this show.
Yeah.
And a Victorian nurse walked past me on the stairs, and it was a ghost.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, yeah, but what were you filming? And he goes, period drama. I was like, so it's probably an extra. Like, so that's why I can't trust my dad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a bit of a ghost episode. I mean, it's quite a good way to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Well, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tom Grennan, and I believe in ghosts.
I'm Roman Kemp, and I'm skeptical about ghosts. I think it's energy.
Yeah, maybe, but I do believe that spirits are around us.
Would you do a Ouija board?
Never in my life.
Would you do a Ouija board with me?
Never in my life. If I saw you do a Ouija board, I'd think you are cracked out your mind, mate.
You wouldn't do a Ouija board with me?
No, mate. Why are you tempting like the evil?
Why does it have to be evil? Why does it have to be evil?
Because it's awakening things that shouldn't be awakened.
But you're saying they're already awake. We could have spoken to that thing that spat in your face. Why are you spitting in his face?
Yeah.
But you don't think you'd do a Ouija board?
No.
Well, you're that terrified of it.
Man, I wouldn't.
What scenario can we be in that you would do it?
If I was really drunk or something like that.
You wouldn't do it. If I was like, we're going to go away, we're going to properly film it, we're going to do it.
No, mate. Like,
because you're scared of it, or because you think it's...
I think, like, don't tempt all that shit, man. Like, that stuff can fuck you up.
I've done it before.
Yeah, and
it's nothing happened.
Did anything happen?
Nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
there you go.
But that's what I mean. So do you want to try
in
it?
my head, this is where my mind goes. Play with a Ouija board, and then I step out and get hit by a car.
Oh, you think you're going to get cursed? You think it's like Final Destination?
Definitely. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, man. I think we should do it.
Well, listen, if it's going to make good content for the podcast, then I've got a ghost story though. So you do have a ghost story.
Yeah, it's
Someone
not me though.
doesn't.
It's not me though.
All right.
It's not me though. But I was there when it was revealed.
Okay.
And it was probably the biggest moment in my life where I've had the most chills.
All right.
So, my nan, right? My nan, my dad's mum, was evacuated when she was a kid. She got evacuated out to Dunstable.
Big up Bedfordshire. Come on.
Out to Dunstable. And she was placed in this house, and when she was a kid, like the lady that was there treated her terribly, like really, really bad. Like
Really?
yeah, not but mate, a lot of the evacuee kids got really badly like abused and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, mate, it was horrendous, really bad.
Wow.
It happened to my granddad as well. My granddad got put with something. My granddad had to leave the first person he was with because she was doing witchcraft on him.
What?
Yeah. So anyway, so my nan gets sent to this house.
Yeah.
And she's having a terrible time. And one of the things that the lady kept beating on her about was because my nan said that in the mornings she would say that an older lady would come into the room, into her room, and keep opening the curtains and would be like walking around and stuff like that. And every time she'd bring up the older lady to the lady that owned the house, the lady would be like just beat on her, like just be like,
yeah, shut
up, right?
Yeah.
What you want about? And so my nan just was terrified, didn't ask no more questions. You know, we just have to deal with this old lady in her room and like, you know, and also she would get the lady who owned the house would beat on my nan because she would say, "You're running around the house. I can hear you. Like you're running and shouting. I can hear your footsteps everywhere." And my nan was like,
"It's not me.
It's not me, right?"
Yeah.
But she was getting really beat up about it and blah blah. So anyway, so my nan's always told that story, and you know, like not in like a ghost way,
right?
But just always just said she was always a bit like, oh, the lady was, you know, just crazy and just, you know, obviously had this older lady that was working for her and all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward to it. I come home from school. One of my mates from school's come with me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at dinner. My nan and granddad were over at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're in the house, it kind of comes up and says, and we start talking about ghosts somehow at dinner.
Yeah.
And Adam, my friend, he then says, he was like, "Oh, we've got a ghost in our house. We've got a ghost in our house."
In your house?
No, in the house.
In his house. Yeah,
in his house. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, we've got." He goes, "Oh, my mum always talks about an old lady walking around the house, and being in this house, and like she would see her like quite often, right. Like his mum would." And she said that, and also she said when he was younger, they would think that he was up out of his room because they would hear kids' footsteps all across the house, but like running footsteps, like as if kids playing and stuff like that and screaming. And she would hear it and then would go up and check, and Adam's in bed asleep.
Yeah.
Right? So he's telling this story. And my nan goes to him, "Where is it you live?" And he says, "Oh, I live in Dunstable."
Shut up.
Not only is he in the house that my nan got evacuated to, but they are both seeing the same stuff. The old lady and the kids running around.
Wow. Now
that's mental.
Mental.
Every time I talk about it,
imagine
goosebumps.
Being that ghost, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're trapped in the house.
See, I don't think they're trapped,
long.
bro. I don't think they're trapped. I think it's like,
imagine.
No, I don't think they're trapped. It's like replaying itself. It's like the energy is still there, that it's been left behind. In the same way that, right, you go into stadiums, right? You know what it's like. Or you go into an arena.
Yeah.
And the second you walk into that arena, you can feel,
of course,
an energy.
Yeah.
Because it's been so much concentrated energy, so much happiness or sadness or a football stadium, but energy.
Yeah.
You can, even though it's empty, completely empty.
Yeah.
You get that raw feeling.
Yeah. But do you get that feeling because you know that that's happened in there? Or do you get that feeling because that...
No, I think it gets left behind.
Yeah. I believe that too.
And that's what I mean. I think that like, if you like...
So there's moments in time just get stuck and...
You know when you leave the TV on too long?
Yeah.
You know when you leave the TV on too long and it's got text on the TV?
Yeah.
And it burns into the screen?
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's an imprint.
That's a wild story though. What did your nan do? Did she cry?
No, my nan ended up
go back to the house.
Go back to the house. Yeah, she said, she was like, "Oh, is it the one with the big apple tree in the back garden next to on the corner of the thing?" He was like, "Yeah." Mate, it was mental.
That is weird.
So weird.
I've got the big question this week.
Go on.
How does exercise affect your mental health? Obviously, I saw you run with Mo.
Yep.
What a lovely guy, by the way.
Big Mo Farah. Well, he's quite little actually.
Yeah, but he's such a legend, isn't he?
I've never seen someone more happy.
I know, man. I know. What a career, mate.
You did it.
I did it. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it clear. I did it with an 8 centimeter tear down my tendon
And why are you saying that?
because you beat me.
But can I tell you,
Go on.
I literally all I had, because that was the weirdest day. That was
Yeah.
literally the weirdest day.
It was so
'Cause-
cold, wasn't it?
well, no, because like I had called you
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
We had chatted for ages, and then literally, I think I must have put the phone down. And 45, I realized that we didn't ask each other what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then 45 minutes later, I'm walking in the park to go
Yeah.
and meet Mo, and you're there.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I got a text about 2 hours later. By the way, beat you.
yeah. Well, no, because in my head, I was just like, oh, man, I've just got to beat him.
Yeah.
I've just got to beat him.
Did he take you on like this mad scenic route as well? I went through puddles.
Yeah, mate, I went through a mad puddle. I basically
Yeah.
was swimming at one
I
point.
know, me too.
But no, I can't remember the time I did it. Honestly, if I'm totally honest, I was blowing.
Were you? Yeah, me too.
I
By the
was
way,
blowing.
I was blowing too, and he was like, it was like he was walking.
Nothing.
I know, it's mad.
I
And we were
asked-
going at a good pace, man.
Mate, I asked him, I was like, during like the Olympics, right? What are you realistically thinking about? Because the what is it? The 1,800 meters, 5,000 meters, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
12,000 meters. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
does. Boring.
yeah,
Realistically, boring.
yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, what are you thinking about? He goes, when I won the gold at the London Olympics, I was thinking about what cycle I've got to put the wash on for my top.
See,
That's what he's thinking about.
that's mad.
That's how easy it is for him.
I know, mad.
To your question about exercise and mental health, like it feels like a cliche saying it because
Mhm.
everyone always says it. It's like exercising an
So
hour a
good for your mental
day.
health.
Oh God, my brain feels so clear.
Yeah,
But it does help.
yeah,
Like it does. It really does help. And whether or not that is the endorphins or whatever, I think it's because for a certain amount of the day, you don't think about anything else.
no. And it's at that time of day where you challenge yourself as well.
Yeah.
And when you complete it, you're like, oh, I've completed something today. And I
Yeah.
feel like I can go in and do whatever I want to do and do it at a good quality, you know?
Yeah. See, I don't see you look at it as a challenge for yourself.
Mm.
I just think, oh, it's just one of them things I have to do. And
Yeah.
it's like a weird switch off.
Yeah.
If I don't go
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of days,
Oh, God.
I start feeling like, oh,
Yeah.
like the thing that prangs me out most, I don't know if you get it, is
Yeah.
when I look at my calendar, the
Yeah.
thing that prangs me out the most is where am I going to fit in gym?
It's my biggest argument I have with my management.
And I don't like going early.
No, I do like a workout in the mornings, early doors. But
How early?
7,
Oh, see, I feel sick.
really.
That makes me feel sick.
Really? What time you
9
what time
o'clock.
9 o'clock. See, that's respectful. Do you know what I mean? That's
At a push, 8.
yeah.
Like, you start hitting the 7s and 6s.
No, but then you are knackered at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that's why, mate. When I
Yeah.
put on so much weight, when I started doing like breakfast radio, mate, you put on so much weight because you're so tired. You can't. I can't do that.
Could not do breakfast radio.
Because afterwards,
that
you,
reason.
you don't want to go gym.
No.
You don't want to do any of that.
No.
And it does, and then it starts getting into your psyche a bit. And I feel like sometimes exercise can just release you from whatever it is that you're going through at that time because you're focused
Yeah.
on one thing. As you say, it does release the endorphins, but the major player for me is the phone.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
I've now got it because I was one of them people that like in between each set
Go have a little message or look
on
at
my
your
phone.
Instagram or whatever
Yeah,
it might
like
be.
my phone's in my pocket during the set.
Yeah.
And now I've changed it. In the last year, I've changed it to leave the phone
Mm-hmm.
in the locker.
Yeah, I see. I've really noticed. Obviously, banging on about me being injured, but obviously I've not really been able to do anything apart from like weights.
All right.
So my phone's on me. So I've really noticed that difference in the way I'm training is that I'm doing like you're saying, set of weights, bang on my phone, and it's taking me like an extra 45 minutes because I'm on my phone, and I'm actually not getting that time away to
No.
like have thinking space and just have a minute on my own. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's what I would say. I would say to anyone that's like, oh, do you really think exercise is good for your mental health? I do,
Yeah,
but I think you need to drop the phone.
yeah,
I think that is the game changer. Calendar-wise,
yes.
let's talk about this. You love a calendar swap. You like
Love
seeing what
it.
I've been doing. I like to see what you've been doing. I know what you've been doing. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about Soccer Aid?
Nah, we've spoken about it too much, or the
Why don't-
bonus episode.
Yeah. So why don't we put?
Let's do that in the bonus.
We'll put all because a lot happened.
Yeah, a
at
lot
Soccer
did
Edge.
happen.
A lot happened.
Yeah.
So we chucked that in a bonus episode.
Yep. Perfect.
What, you want to know what I've been doing?
What have you been
Well, you
doing?
know what I've been doing, really.
Yeah,
You've
but
seen it.
tell everyone what you've been doing.
I went to Harry Potter World, didn't I?
Ledge. Love Harry Potter
I
World.
went to Harry Potter World. There's moments in time where you get when it comes to
Is that your first time there, by the way?
well, being a quote unquote celebrity,
Yeah.
right? You do get some perks.
Right.
One of which was a private tour around Harry Potter
Oh, a
World.
private tour.
It was nice.
I've not done it privately.
It was nice. I mean,
Why would
everyone else
what
was still there, but like,
right?
just had one person just taking me around, like telling everything.
Cool.
Right, and it was ledge. But I got into Harry Potter very late. I only watched it last year.
For the first time.
First time ever.
Nah.
Never watched it when we were kids. Never read the book.
Really?
No, nothing.
Really,
Do you love it?
mate. Harry Potter for me is up there with some of the best. It's one of the best things ever made for me.
But when you deconstruct it, bit
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, it is messed up. I think I've got a theory about Harry Potter though.
What?
I don't think it's you know, like each character
Yeah.
has its has their own backstory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the human brain
Yeah.
is not capable of making up all of that. I think she was given the secret pass by a wizard. Maybe her granddad was a wizard, or maybe she was the one who's like been told, okay, you can tell the whole world about this,
Yeah.
make it up and make it sound mystical and make it sound magical and that. But you can have the secret ticket to say, this is actually what's happening and this is what goes on. And I think the real world needs to hear about it. Because I don't think this brain is capable of creating all of that. There's it's their own
You
language.
think it's too detailed?
It's too detailed, man.
You think it's real?
I think it's
You know what you are?
gullible.
Miles off it. Miles off it.
Yeah, mate. I'm telling you.
I like the theory,
Yeah, imagine. I'd love to play Quidditch, mate. I'd be sick at it. I'd be so good at Quidditch.
but this is my thing. This is where I think if you really break down Harry Potter, it's a bit messed up.
go on then.
Well, like, you know, like in Goblet of Fire, where they're like all just watching him. He's at the Triwizard tournament, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, check me, by the way, know all the lingo.
Love it.
But they're just like watching, like, how old is it at that time? 14, 15?
Yeah.
They're all just there, chilling, watching him nearly die.
Yeah.
They're watching a child potentially be killed
Yeah, it
for
is
sport.
wild. It
For
is wild.
sport.
It is wild, but it's great.
And Dumbledore,
film.
great bloke, but
Unreal guy.
that's
Bit mad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
surely he's getting done for that.
Yeah, but he's a nice guy.
Is he?
Well, you never know.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
they're all sat there watching whilst a 15-year-old nearly dies in front of him for sport.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Do you want a cool fact?
Go on.
You obviously talk about your dad a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about my dad for a second.
Oh, here we go.
My dad built, because he's a builder,
Yeah.
he built the pool. It was a pool, but they made it look like a river.
Yeah.
You know the film where I think it is the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, where they're underwater.
Where they're underwater.
He built that.
He built that massive tank. So
It's
he,
massive.
yeah, it's huge. So he met like the whole cast, and he met like Hagrid's dog Fang, and he met Hagrid, and he built that tank. Pretty cool, isn't it?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
I know.
So you are a Nepo baby as well?
I am a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
in the gang.
Finally, you're in the gang.
Yes.
But I do think Harry Potter is one of those things that I never thought I'd be into it.
Really?
And then I watched it. I had to do it. I can't read books. My brain don't work.
Me
like that.
neither, man. I've never read the book.
No, I've never read a book in my life.
No.
Like,
But the only book I've ever read is Horrid Henry.
see, mine, Tiger at Kemp and Tom,
Sick book.
sick book.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Harry Potter films, great. I'm going to call another bit out. In Harry Potter, I could have the ending. Well, not the ending, but Snape.
Yeah.
They missed a trick.
Why?
There was a moment like when I'm watching that film. I don't know which one it is. It was Deathly Hallows Part 1,
Yeah.
right? Where Snape's like dying, and then he's like telling him stuff, and it's all about how like Snape like was in love with his mum,
Yeah.
or like all that. So I was like, mate, to say I physically levitated above my sofa waiting for Snape to
I am
say,
your father.
why is he not his dad?
I know. It would be good.
That I would have stood up and clapped.
It would be good. But then again, like when you see his mum and dad in the mirror
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying, though.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really his dad.
Yeah.
It was really Snape.
What would have been
He's
better?
had this whole
What
battle
would have been
with.
what would have been better is if Voldemort was his dad.
That would have been too bait, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that could have been it. But that would then you just see it
Voldemort
as
was
Star
his
Wars.
mum.
You know they're bringing out the series TV version.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, it's happening. I mean, I think. Do you know my one thing on it?
I just don't want it to be killed off, man. I don't want it to be like over saturated.
Can I tell you? And this is going to sound really too adult for me to say.
Go on, then.
I really just hope they protect the kids that are in it.
In what sense?
Well, mate,
Like celebrity wise,
yeah,
or like becoming like a famous kid.
yeah, that is gonna because they're choosing like kind of unknown kids.
Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I went to the BAFTAs the other day and I met you know that kid in adolescence.
Yeah. He's brilliant.
He's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone at the BAFTAs about him after meeting him, and I just said, I hope what you just said. I hope he's getting looked after, and I hope like it must be mad going from someone who's unknown to somebody who's like mega famous in such a small amount of time.
But you got to think as well, Daniel Radcliffe and all of those guys, right?
Yeah.
When they were young, it was tough for them,
Oh my
and they
God.
didn't have the social media that it is now.
Oh my God, no. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what worries me. That's
Yeah.
my only thing on it is I just hope they've got something in place where they just really thought about it.
Yeah.
Because I think that is going to be so massive.
Yeah.
Like the series is going to be
Yeah.
unbelievably big
Yeah.
and
good.
unbelievably big.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lots of pressure on whether or not it's going to be good.
Yeah.
A fan base that are already like, even when the film came out, they were like, well, it's not in the book. It's not in the book. You know what I mean? That's another thing, by the way. That's the biggest ick on a person. If I ever meet them,
Yeah.
and literally,
It's not as good as the book. My mum's like that.
not my mate. Sorry, your mum's not my mate.
My mum's like that. She loves the book. She's like, yeah, it's not as good as the book though. I'm
See,
like, yeah,
I
but
think
I haven't read the book.
People
So
just say that. Your mum's just saying that to you to prove she reads.
yeah, I know. Not as good as the book though.
Yeah, but it's nothing to do with what it actually is. It's just
No.
to say, I achieved that.
Yeah.
I achieved.
I
did
read
it.
them thousands of pages.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
did it.
I hear you.
It's like a marathon medal.
Yeah.
People just wearing that for a week. Loads of people
That's
finished
definitely
it.
me.
Loads of people finished it. though.
Yeah. 100%.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think on the new series, excited, nervous.
One thing I would say about Harry Potter as well, that really I'm like, wow. The fact that the first one came out when? The early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s.
The fact that it still has such a massive fan base and still like thousands of thousands
when I
of
was
people
at that tour-
go to the tour.
Mate, when I was at the tour, people dressed up.
I know, mate. You I get the train from King's Cross, right? My line is like King's Cross station, right outside platform 9 3/4. And that line to go and have a picture there is
A joke.
huge.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. We'll also say this. Daniel Radcliffe,
Yeah.
I always forget who to say when I talk about who's my favourite interview of all time. Daniel Radcliffe.
Why?
Nicest bloke.
Really? I could imagine that,
Mate,
though.
like,
But
top tier nice bloke.
But I cannot unsee him being Harry Potter.
No, but the best thing about Daniel Radcliffe, he likes talking about it.
Yeah, that's good.
He loves talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
he could come on it. Like, if he were on air with us on this sofa, you could ask him any question and he'd be happy to answer it.
What a life that them lot had, by the way.
Mental.
Like, just grew up being Harry Potter or Ron Weasley or Hermione Granger. That is ledge.
You know, I found out I can do a good Daniel Radcliffe impression.
Go on then.
Well, I found this out through a niche way. Good little drop in here as well.
Yeah.
Because I was in How to Train Your Dragon too.
What?
I'm in it.
Mate, that's up there with like one of my favourites.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 was the one that got Oscar nominated as well, I'm pretty sure.
No way.
So, yeah.
We get the Oscars?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So I'm just listed as actor 1. No, I played a Viking.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Not one of the dragons.
No, I was a Viking. I was like, it was one of those where they give you like a little bit of a rock. Have you ever seen that where they give like a celeb like they can have one line,
Yeah, like you did for Wallace and Gromit.
like I did for Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Won a BAFTA as well.
one
Did you
of
get a
after, don't want to chat about it. Yeah, but on this one, I went in there and they were like, "Yeah, this is your like 3 words," and I recorded the 3 words, and then they were like, "Well, that's not bad. Do you want to do a couple more?"
Mm.
So now I've got proper like the characters that chat and all this type of stuff. Like, it's good. So I can play that movie, and there I am.
I'm gonna
But
watch that tonight.
But everyone thinks it's like Daniel Radcliffe in the film secretly.
Go on then.
Because they were like trying to say like how they want it to be. They want it to be English and like this and like a bit younger. But it was just one line that kind of sounds like Daniel Radcliffe.
How did it go?
So the bit that they all like is my character's talking about it doesn't want the light source or something like that, and then they say, "Oh, but thingy will bring it back."
Mm-hmm.
And then my character looks at the other character and goes, "Oh, it's probably not even coming back."
That is really good.
And if you close your eyes,
I saw Harry Potter.
if you close your eyes and
do it one more time,
Daniel
please.
Radcliffe, Harry Potter, he's probably not even coming back.
Really good. That is really good.
Well, look,
I'm so amazed, by the way, that you're in How to Train Your Dragon still.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I move big movements.
Yeah, you do.
Well, look, we've kind of covered some weird topics today.
Yeah.
A lot of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
We did say though we'd speak about your soccer aid endeavours.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot to break down there. So why don't we put it in you like to call it the bonus track?
The old bonus.